Okay. So with that, we're going to switch over and take a look at how these trained agents actually did. So again, our playoff is our first round. We have Neo against OMUlettes, and then we have 360 No Slope versus Fuzzifiers. So we're going to start with Neo versus OMUlettes, and I'll go ahead and show you the portfolio of scenarios we're training over this year. So we have some of the same ones from last year. We don't want to make it too hard on everybody. But to prevent some, overfitting, we have some new fun ones. The first ones that they will do, they're going to do some very small ones that have a few asteroids. Let me. Yeah, sorry, it was not being shared in the teams. It was only being shared in on the stream. Let me go ahead and do that. Okay. Okay, everybody should be able to see my screen now in both teams and on the stream. Again, the portfolio of scenarios we're going to go over. We have these first two, which are very small. And the second one is just the same as the first, but the positions of the ships are swapped because it's a non-symmetric scenario. So it's pretty small. They are going to just go around and shoot and see if they drop any mines, see what their behaviors are like. Then on, sorry, it looks like we might have a question in the chat. Then we're going to go into some more difficult scenarios where we have asteroids distributed around the screen in certain patterns. We will have walls of asteroids moving towards the ships, including one where the walls are closing in on them. We will also have a very difficult one where the wall is moving very quickly. We have some new ones that we've introduced this year, which are corridors. And essentially there's a corridor inside of a field of asteroids that are moving, and we're going to see how the ships behave. Whether they try to get out of that corridor by blasting their way through it, or if they try to move with the corridor, etc. The first one, they have a lot of ammo. The second one, they have very limited ammo, but they do have more mines. So this one is more focused on the mine laying behavior of the agents. And then, of course, the last set of scenarios that we have here are everybody's favorite, the rings that close in on the ships. So we have one where the ring closes on one of the vehicles and not the other, and then the ships are swapped. So the other player gets put inside the ring. Then we have rings closing on both of them. Then we have a situation where we have smaller rings in terms of size of the asteroids, but they are closing very quickly on both ships. They're both inside the same ring. And then we have another one with the two rings closing on each of so there's two rings closing on each of the vehicles. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and run matchup number one, which is Neo versus OMU. Let's go ahead and do it. All right, so this is a pretty small scenario. We just have a few asteroids. We see that OMU went up to the top and is just sort of skirting around. Oh, Neo laid a mine. Took out a few asteroids there and laid a mine right next to OMU. Oh, and wound up taking a life from OMU in the first scenario. Now, they had limited ammo, so Neo's already actually out of ammo and mine, so he's just waiting for the sim to end, essentially. So the sim ended. This is the same scenario, but their starting positions were changed. We see Neo laying another mine to hit some asteroids. He's already out of bullets. So yeah, some interesting behavior pretty early. This one, we have a wall of asteroids coming towards both of them. We see Neo laying mines to collect score, although he wound up hitting some asteroids down at the bottom. OMU started moving around the wall to the bottom and is shooting towards them. And oh, interesting. Okay. Shooting towards some other asteroids, not laying any mines though. And Neo still has a mine in reserve, but he's cleaning it up with his bullets. This one is a bit different because we just have static asteroids, so it's kind of interesting to see which asteroids the agents prioritize, OMU seems to be caught in some sort of situation where it's not reacting to the asteroids. This is another wall scenario coming from the bottom, pretty similar to the last one. We see Neo using his mines to both blow holes in that wall and collect more score, and also creating a nice debris field, shooting asteroids all over the place. You know, he mentioned creating an aimbot, and it looks like the aimbot's working. Really high accuracy levels. In this scenario, they have unlimited bullets. Oh, OMU just hit some asteroids and lost its last life. This is a fun one. We have the walls closing in on the two ships. So it looks like Neo got caught. He spent a life to blow a hole with a mine in the wall. OMU lost 2 lives right there. Oh, and OMU just died. That's unfortunate. Pretty heavy debris field. No noticeable slowdown, so some pretty good efficiency from the Neo controller. He still has a mine left, but he's focusing more on shooting the asteroids right now. But of course, the pretty small time limit on that scenario. This one's a bit different because the wall is staggered, and so part of the wall starts on the other side of the frame. So this one's really meant to check. Oh, it looks like OMU is trying to follow Neo around there. But this one's really meant to check to see if the agents can handle with wrapping very effectively or not. And both of them survived. Wow. And then this one is a little bit more difficult because the asteroids start coming in at a much higher velocity initially. Again, Neo using those mines pretty effectively to gain score and kind of clear out a path in the wall pretty early, and continuing to mop up with shooting. OMU seems to be a lot more focused on avoiding at the moment rather than gaining score. And so now we're in the corridor. This is the first corridor that's angled. So we see this field of asteroids kind of moving around, and Neo's doing a pretty good job of kind of ignoring the corridor and just making his own. Why not gain score and clear out the field at the same time? Unfortunately, it looks like OMU got caught at the edge of the screen there and lost all of their lives. Neo's already used all of his mines. This one goes for a little bit longer. He's already out of mines. In the next scenario, it's the same as this. However, there's very limited ammo and bullets, but the ships have a lot more mines. So yeah, they start off with 10 mines, and Neo's already out of bullets, but he has a bunch of mines left, and so let's see what he does. He's going to have to try to avoid and move pretty smartly to try to get away from this field that's being created, especially because a lot of these smaller asteroids are moving pretty quick because of the momentum. A reminder that the mines actually do impart momentum on the asteroids based on how far they are from the detonation point. So doing pretty good. Some pretty good avoidance that we're seeing, you know. Yeah. So now we have no mines left, and Neo's just avoiding until the end of the scenario. But wow, managed to survive pretty well. And now we've got everybody's favorite. We have a closing ring on Neo. He was able to set a mine and blow a hole in one side of the ring, and then set another mine that really created a nice big debris field with a lot of asteroids shooting everywhere. Now it looks like OMU didn't fare so well. No mines left, and so Neo's now just clearing out some of that debris that was created. The next one, now we have OMU inside of the ring, so we'll see what happens when he gets a bit closer. We'll see if OMU can get out of the ring or not. He already lost 1 life. Let's see if he can get out of there before his invincibility wears off. Oh, unfortunately, OMU couldn't get out of there. I see some interesting mine placement. Yeah, clearing up some of the smaller asteroids, especially using the wrapping effectively, placing a mine for the asteroids about to wrap into it. Now this another scenario where they're both inside rings. These are very small rings, so a lot easier to get out. Oh, interesting. Neo set a mine and then stayed on top of it. It was towards the end of the sim, willing to sacrifice a life for it. And here we go. This one is a lot of fun. This is one where we have the rings closing in on both of them. Oh, Neo successfully blew a hole and got out. Oh, wow. Oh, Neo laid a mine and then kind of got caught a little bit and just stayed on top of the mine. But only lost one life so far. Let's see if he can manage to survive this really heavy debris field that was created by the mines. Unfortunately, OMU not able to survive past that the initial ring pass. Looks like Neo's in a good spot, sitting down in this corner, being able to carve out a little pocket and just gain score without having to move too much. Wow. All right, so that was Neo versus OMU for round one. I'm going to take a look at scores and bring that over in 1 second. Okay, so Neo was team 1 and OMU was team 2, so these are all the scenarios that it was running on. And we have our total score. So team 1 Neo had 3881 hits on asteroids, and team 2 had 292. Accuracy for Neo was 99.5 and 48.58 for OMU. And Neo had 4 deaths and OMU had 26. So yeah, kind of a fun opening round. We saw some really interesting mine placement. We saw OMU really prioritizing kind of moving around as opposed to shooting or mine placement. But hey, that's okay. You know, you do have to move around and get into a good position. So Neo taking the first match, and so Neo will be advancing to the next round. So next we have Team 360 No Slope versus the Fuzzifiers. Both of these from DigiPen. So we have a DigiPen playoff. Go ahead and get this set up so we have those two playing each other. And after we run the playoff, by the way, I'll open it back up for some commentary from the teams and some more Q&A from everybody else. Let's go ahead and get started with 360 No Slope versus the Fuzzifiers. So the first rounds are pretty simple. We just have these a few asteroids. We see No Slope, you know, prioritizing shooting it's already out of bullets. Did pretty well with 97% accuracy. Fuzzifiers seem to be rotating and trying to identify targets, maybe. Looks like maybe the shooting isn't exactly on. Not sure. Maybe there's something. You know, it's not identifying that it wants to shoot. Not sure. Oh, interesting. 360 no slope. Not shooting at that asteroid until it was decently far away. But then this other one that came wrapping back into the screen, it started shooting immediately. Still pretty good accuracy. It got a lot of hits right there. It's already out of bullets, though. Still no mine usage from either of the teams yet. Let's see if that changes on some of the new ones. Oh, wow, some interesting behavior from 360 no slope right there. Started off flying up to the top and shooting, although maybe that was an issue with identifying wrapped asteroids. Doing pretty well, staying out of the path. Fuzzifiers weren't able to stay out of the way of the wall, though, and already died. But No Slope seems to be able to stay out of the path of the wall pretty good and taking some shots here and there. Another interesting one, yeah, they prioritize that bottom left one. Now they're prioritizing top left, but kind of a delay before they started shooting. And it looks like Fuzzifier is still having a few issues with shooting where they're rotating and kind of taking pot shots. Oh, and No Slope actually slammed into the asteroid there after wrapping around. Interesting. Oh, and did it again, slammed into the asteroid there. Looks like No Slope may have an issue or two with the wrap. Oh, No Slope slamming into an asteroid. I mean, it looked intentional. I'm not sure if that was the case. Maybe to gain score, you do technically get a hit on an asteroid for slamming into them. Of course, it takes one of your lives, so not always ideal to do that. Fuzzifiers having actually some pretty good avoidance right there, still rotating around, but we're able to make it through that wall by squeezing through that gap. Oh, no slope. Wow, it got caught on the edge by a couple asteroids. They hit one and then a shot and immediately got hit by. Oh, no slope running into. Oh, wow, no slope ran into Fuzzifiers and just sat on top. And unfortunately, we've seen this. Fuzzifiers controller's throwing some divide by zero exceptions. So it's not performing any actions when that happens. Seems like they're both trying to avoid at the moment. 360 no slope already shot all of its bullets, so it's just trying to evade, but not laying any mines. I haven't seen either of these lay mines yet. I think I'll have to check the recording. Interesting. Fuzzifiers couldn't stay out of there, and then the scenario did. No slope again, avoiding that wall by wrapping. Oh, laid a mine. We do get a mine. Took out a couple asteroids there, and Fuzzifiers already dying. It looks like it was No slope was anticipating that wrap by the wall with that mine placement, although it was a bit behind where the asteroids wound up being. Some pretty good shooting though. Pretty good accuracy. We're at about 80%. Ooh, we're getting some noticeable FPS drop with the. Oh wow, no slope not handling the corridor too well and slammed into one pretty quickly. Fuzzifiers also seem to having some difficulties with the corridor. No slope. Oh man. I should mention, for those not familiar, in Kessler, your invincibility does go away if you shoot while you're invincible. It removes your invincibility frames, and so that's why No Slope died right there, because it shot. Even though it's invincible, it started shooting, so it lost its invincibility and got hit again. No Slope, although it lost a life doing it, was able to get out of the first ring pretty effectively. Fuzzifiers seem content to just not move and shoot pretty slowly and rotate again. We're still getting some pretty noticeable FPS drop. No Slope did mention during their presentation that the evaluation can be pretty heavy. We're seeing that here. Maybe some further optimization would help that out quite a bit. Some pretty good shooting though. We're seeing some pretty good accuracy. Fuzzifiers just died. Now let's see if Fuzzifiers can get out of the ring successfully. It looks like they're going to lose a life doing it. They've already lost one. Oh, they lost 2 lives. Oh, they're dead. Unfortunately, Fuzzifiers couldn't make it out of the ring in time. No Slope seems content to just sit back there and pick off asteroids from the outside. Let's see if they can, how much score they can actually gain before the time limit. Only got about 5 seconds left. Doing pretty good though, managing their accuracy. Pretty good. Fuzzifiers seem to have some more issues in situations like this with asteroids coming directly at them. And No Slope was able to get out of the ring successfully, picking up a lot of score, prioritizing the score over by the other ship, which is kind of interesting. We have seen that in some of these scenarios. It's kind of interesting to see how the ships might prioritize asteroids near the other ship for whatever reason. Maybe it's because it learned that shooting them would, make life more difficult, more likely to kill. Oh, we see a mine placed over there by the other ship, but unfortunately we hit the limit. This is the much faster rings. Oh wow, we saw a couple mines laid there by No Slope at the very end, trying to gain score, but wasn't able to dodge very effectively. A pretty good mine right there by No Slope, although it lost a couple lives getting out of the ring. And unfortunately, Fuzzifiers already died. Oh, another pretty good mine placement. I wonder if it learned that behavior to place a mine in on one side of the wrap and then move to the other side of the wrap to avoid the blast from the mine. That's kind of interesting if it learned to do that. Okay, so I'll open up that and see what the results were from No Slope versus the Fuzzifiers. Okay, so Team 360 No Slope was Team 1, and Team 2 was the Fuzzifiers. So the total hits over those scenarios for 360 No Slope was 1215 and 181 for the Fuzzifiers. Accuracy, almost 90% for No Slope on those. Pretty good accuracy on a lot of those. Yeah, not too bad. And Team 2 accuracy, the Fuzzifiers doing not too bad also at 77%. Although we saw they were pretty conservative about shooting. They seemed to want to sit there and rotate and maybe pick and choose their targets and would only avoid when they had to. So some interesting behavior there. 25 deaths for 360 No Slope and 32 for the Fuzzifiers. So 360 No Slope wins the first round, and they will also advance to the next round against Neo. And then also in the third place bracket, we're going to have the OMUlettes versus the Fuzzifiers. Okay, so let's go ahead and do third place first. So we're going to have the OMUlettes versus the Fuzzifiers, and we'll see if how those do against each other. So our third place match is going to be OMU versus Fuzzifiers. Let's go ahead and check out the OMUlettes versus the Fuzzifiers. See how they do. All right, the first scenario, OMU comes out flying, wrapping around, prioritizing that movement, and then identifying that wrap pretty well. Not too bad. And OMU is already out of bullets. Fuzzifiers, again, seem content to rotate and shoot pretty slowly. Oh, OMU decides to slam into the Fuzzifiers, taking a life from both of them. Neither one of them seem to want to drop mines, though. Interesting. OMU, again, racing around at the beginning of the scenario, getting a few shots, and then kind of settling down. Pretty good shooting, though, at the moment. And OMU is already out of bullets. Let's see if it finally decides to drop a mine. OMU not reacting in this one to the wall yet. Interesting. I wonder if there's something triggering that. Like it has a certain threshold. Oh, Fuzzifiers already taking a hit. Not able to avoid. Oh, almost avoided and got out of that, but not quite. Yeah, it seems like OMU's controller might have something where it gets stuck trying to avoid. Yeah, interesting. Interesting. This one is very interesting to see which ones they prioritize. Because there's a couple different strategies. You can sort of shoot at one of them while moving towards another to then lay a mine. If you're trying to, maximize your score gain per second. But it seems like a lot of them don't do that. In fact, even in Neo's controller, we saw it kind of prioritize further away asteroids when they're static like that. Kind of interesting. Fuzzifiers taking a hit pretty quick right there on that wall, unfortunately. OMU doing pretty well to avoid it, though. Although, again, it seems like they're kind of prioritizing moving away from a bunch of asteroids moving towards it. Unfortunately, Fuzzifiers already losing all 3 lives. OMU finally deciding to shoot. No, unfortunately, a bit too late to gain a whole lot of score. Now we see them, the wall's closing in on them. Oh, will OMU lay a mine? No. Oh, able to survive. Oh, Fuzzifiers just lost their last life, but able to survive with 1 life left for OMU. Let's see if it can gain some score here before moving on to the next one. Only got about 8 seconds left. Oh, unfortunately, no. And OMU has some interesting behaviors at the beginning of scenarios where it tends to it wants to get within a certain range of the asteroids before shooting, and it also avoiding. It likes to, oh, OMU slamming into Fuzzifiers there, taking a life from both of them. Yep. It does appear that OMU has some behavior built in, though, for identifying when it's in invincibility mode. Because once it got hit, it definitely didn't shoot again until it was clear. Yeah, it looks like it's maybe caught in its avoidance mode. Oh, here we go. In the corridor, OMU actually doing pretty good, able to back away from those shots, or from the initial position of the asteroids, although now it's, now it's stuck in the middle of the field. It needs to move. Can OMU do it? Oh, unfortunately, no. OMU having some pretty good behavior so far. It's looking pretty good in the corridors, although it's not laying mines, which it's already out of ammo. Although it's able to avoid pretty effectively so far. Let's see if we can get out of there. Oh, unfortunately, no. Just got stuck in that field of asteroids right there. Oh, OMU unfortunately already losing a couple lives with the ring closing. Let's see if Fuzzifiers can gain some score here, since they have a decent amount of time and a lot of asteroids to shoot, but still being pretty conservative with shooting. And unfortunately, not avoiding nearly enough there to get away from those asteroids. So now we have the Fuzzifiers inside and OMU on the outside. Let's see if OMU can take advantage also and gain some more score. Now, unfortunately, the Fuzzifiers already lost their lives too. So let's see if OMU starts shooting a lot faster. We've seen it shoot quite a bit, although it seems to only want to do that when it's trying to avoid asteroids coming up behind it. Yeah, like this. Very interesting. It was able to get a little bit of score there at the end. Oh, OMU almost carved out a path. Let's see if it can get out. Can OMU get out? Oh, it lost a life. But it was able to get away by only losing one. That's in a pretty good spot. Fuzzifiers throwing some exceptions here. Unfortunately, not performing any actions. OMU not doing too bad. Getting pretty close to some asteroids, but moving around and shooting, gaining some score. Whew. Oh, Fuzzifiers already lost 2 lives on that one. Let's see if they can avoid some more. Oh, OMU slamming into them to take their last life. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but man, what a brutal move by OMU to take the Fuzzifiers out of that scenario. Now we have the 2 rings closing on each of them. Nope, Fuzzifiers already died. OMU already lost 2 lives. Let's see if OMU can... Oh, OMU survived. They were able to at least wait long enough in their invincibility frames to be able to get through that. Let's see if they can get a little bit more score. We have a pretty heavy asteroid field right now. We've seen OMU's avoidance do a couple good things, but right now it seems to be a lot more focused on shooting straight ahead. Wow, so some really interesting behavior we saw there. I don't know if that was intentional or if it was supposed to be an offensive action, but we saw OMU slam into Fuzzifiers in one of those scenarios and take them out of the game because they only had 1 life left. Really interesting. So now we're going to take a look at the Team OMU versus the Fuzzifiers and see how they did. So a reminder that Team 1 was OMU and Team 2 was Fuzzifiers. Okay, so OMU, throughout all those scenarios, had 685 hits, and Team 2, Fuzzifiers, had 176 hits. OMU, worse accuracy actually, but they did shoot a lot, and there were a lot of situations we saw where OMU was seemingly trying to avoid asteroids that were coming up behind it and just firing quite a bit in front of it. So the Fuzzifiers actually had decently high accuracy, but as we saw, they're pretty conservative with their shooting. OMU had 24 deaths and Fuzzifiers had 36. Okay, so we have our first podium finisher. Team OMU. The 4 seed taking out the 3 seed to win 3rd place in the playoff competition. And so now, the big event, we're going to have Team 360 No Slope versus Neo for the final, for 1st and 2nd. Let's go ahead and get that set up. All right, so our final coming up, we have Neo and No Slope. Without further ado, let's see it. These first scenarios should be pretty interesting. We have No Slope. Yeah, we saw some interesting behavior there where it didn't want to really shoot at the other ones, and Neo's already out of bullets, but was able to clean up with some mines. Oh, they're both going after those asteroids pretty early. Neo laying some mines to kind of clean up. He's already out of bullets. No Slope chasing down that last asteroid. Can it get it? It doesn't seem to want to shoot yet. Maybe it's stuck in a mode where it doesn't want to or can't shoot. Neo has a mine, but seems to be avoiding placing that last mine, or one of his 2 last mines. Oh, almost a collision there. Wow, so neither one of them able to get that last one. Oh, Neo laying a mine. Kind of prevented No Slope from going further. I don't know if No Slope's controller took that into account. Oh, laying another mine, trying to force people away from the center of that wall right there. Really interesting behavior. Yeah, we see Neo prioritizing the far away asteroids in this scenario. Kind of interesting. Never see it laying a mine. Wow, almost took one of its own lives, but was able to avoid it either by the wrap or by getting outside of the blast radius. Interesting. Now we see No Slope, getting close to that mine, but successfully getting outside that blast radius. Neo laying some more mines and getting a lot more score. No Slope, though, content to getting away from the mine, but slammed into an asteroid, unfortunately, and lost a life. Some really good shooting by both teams. Although, of course, you know, what can happen in this scenario, like we were talking about, both teams slamming into each other right off the bat. No Slope kind of caught in the middle of this wall. Unfortunately, No Slope got caught in the middle of that wall and didn't get through. What I was going to say is that we talked about that non-determinism, but if you start shooting at asteroids, but the other guy shoots it before your bullet reaches it, it can really result in some odd behaviors because, even if you account for shooting at a particular asteroid, that can cause some interesting behaviors. Some good mine play. Oh, Neo laid a mine where it looked like No Slope was going to run into it. I don't know if that was to try to catch the other ship or try to catch asteroids. We don't know. No Slope already lost a couple lives, though, but both able to survive. This one's a lot faster wall. No Slope already losing a couple lives. Wow. Some really fast asteroids, thanks to some mine placement by Neo, just absolutely blowing the field up. Still has a mine left, though, and about 10 more seconds. Let's see how much score Neo can get. It's doing pretty good. Oh, and here we have the corridor. Wow, both of them laying mines immediately, trying to blow holes in that corridor. Neo successfully got away from it, though, while unfortunately No Slope caught a couple asteroids. It got stuck in that asteroid field right there. But Neo doing some good evasion and kind of carved out a little pocket, and now it seems content to kind of sit there in that pocket and not have to move a whole lot. It does have unlimited bullets in this scenario, but he's already out of mines. The field looks like it's sparse enough, though, that he's pretty safe at the moment. Reminder that the next corridor one, they have very limited bullets. Yeah, so not many bullets, but a lot of mines. Oh, Unfortunately, kind of the same behavior from No Slope. It already shot all its bullets and then got taken out by asteroids. Neo doing a pretty good job though, avoiding, laying some mines, getting to a spot where he can lay more mines and get more score. Still doing a pretty good job avoiding. Yeah, some really interesting behavior. We still got about 13 seconds left. Oh, and that's Neo's last mine. So the game doesn't end when they're out of mines. Currently, we don't have that setting on, but we'll see if Neo can survive for a little bit longer. Oh, looks like he did. So now Neo's caught inside the ring. No Slope just sitting outside there, gaining score, not having to worry about it. Neo laying a couple mines and was able to get out successfully without losing a life. Already used all 3 mines. Interesting. Oh, No Slope lost a life. Oh, and lost another one pretty. Oh, No Slope. Already out of the game, backing into a few asteroids there, unfortunately. And Neo created a pretty dense and fast field, but it's already carved out that pocket and it's just sitting there. No Slope doing pretty good here, shooting at one side. Oh, is almost able to get through. Still lost a light. Oh no. Slammed into the asteroids while still shooting. It successfully got out of the ring, but then couldn't hang on after it just slammed into a couple asteroids while shooting right after that. Nothing too new here. Neo's pretty much in the same situation it was at the end of the last scenario. Let's see if they can get out of the ring effectively this time. We see that mine placement by Neo towards the edge of the rings. Another pretty good mine placement. Oh wow, that one took out the rest of that entire ring. Unfortunately, Neo couldn't get away there. Oof. No Slope trying to shoot and gain score while those asteroids were just coming in at it. Pretty good mine placement here by Neo. Let's see if No Slope. Oh, No Slope's able to get out. No Slope sacrificed a life. Oh, Neo also sacrificed a life with a mine. Oh, unfortunately, No Slope got caught by some asteroids there and then caught another one after the wrap. Yeah, it looks like Neo placed a mine right there, basically on top of itself, and successfully blew a hole in the ring, but was willing to sacrifice a life to do it. Might be the densest field we have in these scenarios. We have a lot of asteroids moving pretty quick. Neo still has 1 mine left in about 8 seconds. Let's see if he uses it to try to gain any last second score. Oh, I guess not, but that's okay. Wow. What a fun run. That was a lot of fun seeing both those controllers, especially the cases where they seem to interact with each other. We saw a couple cases where both OMU and Neo slammed into the other ship. Not sure if it's intentional, not sure if it's an artifact from training. Either way, it's some really interesting behavior. Okay, so without further ado, the results from Neo versus 360 No Slope. So Team 1 was Neo and Team 2 is 360 No Slope. Neo had 3556 hits and 360 No Slope had 517. Accuracy for Neo about 96.5% and about 84% for No Slope. And 3 deaths for Neo and 28 for No Slope. There were a lot of situations with No Slope we saw though where it was being pretty aggressive with shooting, and there were situations where it had invincibility frames, but then it was still continuing to shoot and lost its invincibility, which then killed it. So, you know, maybe a simple fix with taking advantage of invincibility frames more might result in a lot more hits, because if you're able to withstand that and get away to survive and then start shooting again, you can really get a lot more score because, you know, that takes you out of the game pretty quickly if you do that. But still, some really good behavior and really good shooting by both teams. Saw some really interesting mine placement. The corridor, you know, I was rooting for No Slope there to get that mine to blow a hole in that little chunk in the corridor and then be able to move away. But unfortunately, it just got caught in that field and couldn't make it out. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was some really good behavior and some really good shooting by both teams. So let's go ahead and we'll move these into our first and second place slots. So congratulations to all of our competitors. That was a lot of fun. There were some really fun moments in there, seeing how they reacted to some really interesting situations, especially with the other ships in the game with them. So without further ado, our playoff winner is Neo, Team Neo coming in first, with the runner-up, Team 360 No Slope, and in third place, Team OMUlettes. So that is it for the competition, the playoff competition. We will be judging the explainability and innovation in the next couple weeks, and the judges will be giving us their scores. We will relay all the information to the teams about your explanation and innovation results, along with prize disbursement information when we get there. Yeah, thanks everybody for participating. It's a lot of work to create these agents and get them to do anything of value, let alone be able to get in a scenario like that and actually survive and move around effectively, lay mines, evade asteroids, all these things. And like Team No Slope was talking about, it can get pretty complex because you have a lot of asteroids in a lot of these situations, and being able to account for all that is very difficult. So congratulations to our competitors for creating agents that were so effective. That was really good, and congratulations to our winners again of the competition. Yeah. I would like if the team members are on right now to if they have comments on their performance and what they saw. I don't know. I would like to hear from you guys. Like, what'd you think about your agents actually playing the game versus the other competitors?
I just want to say that was some really exciting competition, and that was such a joy to watch.
I agree. That was a lot of fun.
And Tim, you did a great job with the commentary as well, the shoutcasting.
I appreciate that. I tried to put on my esports voice. Yeah, I totally agree. They're a lot of fun to watch, and I had to do a lot of testing, kind of crafting the scenarios, and I have to admit, that wasn't too hard of a task. Just watching them and seeing what would happen. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun for me too. Okay. Well, if nobody has any other comments or anything, if Team 360 No Slope or OMU, if you have any comments, feel free to add. But if nobody has anything else, that concludes the playoff portion of XFC 2024. And we will be evaluating the agents for their explanations. Due to the technical difficulties we had earlier, I'll have to stitch together some of the recordings, but the live stream recording and the presentations will be on the YouTube channel after I do some editing. And then also we'll have recordings of the explanation portion as well that we'll put up. And with that, we'll go ahead and close out XFC 2024. Thanks everybody for joining. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I hope everybody had a lot of fun and learned a lot. Thanks.